Guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you yet another exciting Monster Legends guides on Gurlik, the latest team race monster as of October. So, as per October tradition, we of course get a spooky, scary zombie goblin man who rides a zombie I think it's a zombie frog, don't quote me on that, but he himself is a zombie, because, obviously in his little rank up kind of feature here, if you check out rank 3, he gets Gravedigger. It's because he's a dead guy. Backstory, he was killed and then brought back to life by his past boss, who kind of pulled a, okay, so the guy had replaced you, betrayed me, come back from the dead, please. And he's like, okay. But, yeah, great origin story, right? So, Gurlik right now is very, 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 very hated upon right now. Everyone doesn't like this man. What are my thoughts on him? What do I think? Do I think he's absolute trash, or do I think he's a godsend blessed from God? I think he is neither bad or good. Alright? He's in the middle, and that's actually completely fine. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's completely fine that he's in the middle, and in fact, he's kind of like a high-risk, high-reward character, but you can manipulate the risks in a way, because like I say in a lot of videos, there's always a monster that can be paired up with another to make up for its disadvantages. You can always be advantageous if you pair it up with the right thing. You can make it fly. It's like Hayman, for example. If you want to run a Hayman, run Darkness Weakness, and that, the span, a 1 turn cooldown, 60% life recovery, mwah, perfect, delicious life, return every other turn, beautiful. You can make it work, you can make it fly. You just need to run monsters that compensate for the weaknesses and or the risks, whatever have you, and we'll explain that in this video today. So, with a lot of new monsters as of late, at rank 0, it has Orc, so it's a bit, I think it's like a better Harden. It's like 25% less likely to get hit by any ailment in the game, which is really, really, really nice. I do like that. To be less likely to get hit by, burning, poisons, DOTs, all that nasty stuff. It's really helpful to not have a chance to get frozen. It's just great. Like, to have, like, this plus a resistance, which it does get at rank 3 and 5. If you do get it at 5, it gets self-stun immunity. And it's not a trait, sadly, but it's a buff. But that's that's better than nothing, right? Am I right? Yeah. At rank 3, it gets Gravedigger, which is a worse abomination, mind you. However, it's still abomination. I mean, Gravedigger, you get immune to all possessions. That's really nice. So you're not bothered by any of the possessors in the villains, underworld, and undead, which is very, very, very common for all those books. As far as I'm concerned, every single one of those books has a bunch, and I mean a bunch of possessors. That's all that book is a bunch of possessors and all that nasty stuff, icky stuff that possesses you and does a whole lot of other control stuff. And this man's kind of immune to 2 of the 3 if you do max him out. And I will say he's really easy to max out because you can use Dragonian beef. Dragonian beef. Ah, yes, come down to get some Dragonian beef, ladies and gentlemen. Dragonian beast. You can just breed a bunch of those, extract those. Get 14 cells a pop at max level. It's pretty nice, pretty good. I like it. It's a nice method to get nature and earth cells. Really easy. But yeah, let's get right into it. So power here, or life here is 33,779. Pretty awesome life, not gonna lie. For nature tanks, that's pretty decent. It is a really nice life. Nature monsters are known to have really beefy tank stats and or recovery. Sadly, however, this thing doesn't have any life regen skills. However, he does have a 50% shield, which might be good for stall, oriented comps, which we'll talk about in a bit here. But this life is pretty nice. I will say if you're gonna run it like a stally Gurlik, you can. That is something you can totally do because just because of a single skill. We'll get into that in a sec here. But just so you know, this life really does take an important note in terms of stall Gurlik comps. Again, you can really take advantage of stall Gurlik comps. I'll talk about that later. But for right now, life really nice life. It's not extremely busted life, but it's still really nice tanky life. In terms of a nowadays monster, it's still really nice. Power, 3,542. Really nice power. I think anything above the gospel powers was like, was it 468 or something? A long time ago, but like just as long as it's over that stat, you can run it as a damage dealer. All good and said and done. Power is really nice. Speed, 3,432. Oof, that's a slut. Like, in terms of attack, holy tamale, that was a long time ago. But in terms of that, yeah. Yes, that's about it. You won't outspeed a whole lot of modern attackers. There's a lot of really fast ones nowadays that have that kind of speed or higher. So I don't really know. I think it's alright. It's not like ball is slow, you know. It's like anything like 300 is slow, but it's alright. It's not that bad. I kind of milking that there, that it's kind of meh, but it's alright. Let's see here. Relic, sword and shield. Oh my god, thank you. Finally, we got a damage dealer with a shield relic. Yes! I like that. You don't have any idea how valuable shields are. If you're new to the game, shields are very, very good. To be able to run tenacities is really nice. So let's say you're running like a Coral Brutalis or, you know, just any tank that can double shield. To have your other monsters also be able to hold shields and you have tenacities with those monsters. It's just nice. It's just more sustained. Really nice tanking, which again is kind of why he's nice in kind of stall comps. Again, we'll get to that in a bit. But to be able to hold tenacity shield is in his favor. Sadly, though, him having a sword relic does him actually nothing. Here's why it does nothing for him. Because he doesn't really have a stun skill. He can't really use Ice Breaking Greatsword. In terms of self-procking, he can proc off of other people's stuns or freezes. So if you run him with freezers or stunners, that will work for you all fine and dandy. But to be able to do self-proc is always nice, and he can't do that, sadly. So it's kind of sad. You could run damage relics as an alternative. If you're into that, damage sword relics is really that extra 12k versus the enemy's 28k tenacity shields. That'll do you good. That has multiple stacked mind you. But yeah, it's sad. He doesn't have a stun or free skill, so he can't self-proc Ice Breaking Greatsword. Books again, possession. Him having Gravedigger at 3 is pretty nice. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to go off on tier 1. We're going to start off with tier 1. Gurmit on guard. Applies positive effects protection to itself. Applies a 50% life shield to itself. Requires a cooldown of 2 turns. It's 21 stamina cost. And so why is this skill so good, Dib? Why is it so good, Dib? Why it doesn't do anything, Dib. It only does a 50% shield, and your positive effects are protected. I want you to underline that. Zoom in on this. You see that? It's 2P, protect positive effects, the PPE. Protect positive effects. Whatever you have on you is double protected. Meaning, if there's ever a monster in the future that starts the game off with life regen, that is protected. If you get a turn in, you can just straight up apply that, positive effect protection. As long as they didn't remove that ahead of time, you get to keep it. And even though it's gone by next turn, you have other things that can apply positive effects, whatever have you. This is really nice for guaranteed extra turn double damage setup, because essentially what you can do is, have the first turn go. Let's say you're running something crazy like double extra turners. You can have the first extra turner go, give the monster, an extra turn, self-proc this, have another monster go, and then do triple damage, double damage, and then you can follow up with a single target extra turn skill. He actually has an extra turn damage skill, and for sure it's just nice. It's just really nice and good. Even though you're probably fighting anticipation. So, so I guess it varies. So that might actually not be good. But this is just nice in general, just to have the ability to apply positive effects, because it can just mean so many different plays with other monsters. It's just a good other monster play kind of mechanic. And to protect your 50% shield so you can do like DOTs is really nice. The only real monster right now that could double remove positive effects is really Wyrmlad. I think there was another monster too, but Wyrmlad's just the biggest one. I think there's like 2 or 3 that double remove. If I'm not mistaken, and those don't exist in his book. So to have, again, positive effect protection, to pair it up with your DOT comps, really, really nice. Essentially, this just guarantees he just stalls. He just sponges things. He's just going to sit there and look at you for a solid 2 turns. You better hope you can take that shield out in 2 turns, because if you can't, he'll just keep doing it. He will just continuously stand there until you die from curse, or a combination of curse, sunburn, or bleed. He'll just watch you DOT to death as he just sits inside his bubble with his, like, frog on duty. So I think this is a good skill. I think this Gurmit on guard can be really trolly. Like, if you're running double life and a speed, or 2 speeds in a life, you want to take real nice priority, you're just gonna be there for a while. This is actually realistically, again, since it's on a 2-turn cooldown and he has an extra turn skill, that's only on a 1-turn cooldown. But then again, so is your shield. So I don't think that combos well. Because you kind of lose your shield right away. That doesn't add up. This also stacks with your tenacity shield too, so that's another bonus. So they have to get through your tenacities first and your shield. That's just annoying. I don't know if the shield protects your relic shield. That's something to test. I want to say it might just do that. I don't know. But just know that the skill's low-key annoying. You don't think the skill's annoying? It's actually low-key annoying. Just because it can protect it. It's just so dumb. Because we have a lot of things nowadays that can remove shields. And I don't think they can remove it if positive effects are up. So I think that's really nice. Poison them. Removes all negative status effects from itself. Removes all positive status effects from itself. Deals nature damage to all enemies. Poisons all enemies. This is a 40 damage and a 2-turn cooldown. Everyone in this kind of game thinks this move is garbage. I don't think it is complete trash, because take note of this. It completely resets Gurlik. So let's say you're just kind of drowned with every icky, stupid DOT in the game, and you're gonna die next turn if you can't remove it. Not only does this kind of remove all of that, you also deal damage, and it's 40 damage, and you're probably running him as a damage dealer. If you're running the best runes, X runes, this is pretty decent. And you have like nature weakness, which I recommend. Run nature weakness monsters with this, man, because it makes up for the fact that it removes positive effects. With this monster, really, in terms of just using poison them should only ever be used when you're losing, because again, it kind of just resets Gurlik into a better state in mind. So it's just like a good, in case things go wrong. This is a get out of jail for free, essentially. You just clear everything. So basically, low-key nerfed artifact. You just completely nerfed artifact. This skill is alright, because this can be enhanced with nature weakness. Again, just run nature weakness monsters with this. There's Madam Fusion. It's a huge monster. Run this with Madam Fusion too. This is a good Madam Fusion monster. Because it is able to enhance its damage without actually giving them positive effects, because again, when he uses it, removes it, not good. But, but it removes all the negative stuff. This is kind of why I think it's kind of in the middle in terms of a good and bad monsters, being the fact this is his only AoE skill, and it really does him no bad or good when he uses it. But if it's in a really terrible situation, it's obviously is good. I also want to say that no one has pointed this out yet. I'm going to point it out right now. It's the only move in the game that honestly doesn't give 2 cruds about Total Blind. Like, Total Blind right now is a very, very good denial. because it doesn't count as a deny, right? It's only bad against things that have blind immunity. So unless you're running an Elvira comp, the odds of you actually, being immune to total blind are very few to none. So this is really, really nice, because that means regardless if you get hit with Murak's a very top tier monster, mind you, who probably has applied like nanovirus and like total blind. You clear that. You completely clear that. You didn't care about that play. That didn't affect Gurlik at all. And if you have this at rank 5, odds are the player will go for total blind. They probably won't go for Maelstrom because they're going to be like, oh, well, he's got stun immunity up. I got to remove that first. Well, if this thing goes for the AoE, that's free damage. That's instantaneously free 40 damage. Plus, it could have been affected with other stuff. You could have actually had damage enhancers too. If we ever get like a monster in the future that does nature weakness, possibly that'll just be really good damage for you. Because you probably have this at like at least rank 3 with X runes. That's pretty good damage. That should be really, really nice. Damage would be like, oh shit, this isn't good at all. So this is really nice. I think this skill is a good get out of jail free card. I think people are really overlooking this skill. True, it takes all away your goodies, but it also takes all the bad things about you. That's really nice. It's nice and bad, but it's puts you back in neutral state. Anything that puts you back in neutral when you are in a bad situation is nice. It is really good. You were stronger before. Deals heavy special damage to one enemy. Damage boost to itself. I think this is the most lackluster skill of all of the skills. It's a 50 damage, 3-turn cooldown move that applies damage boost to itself. I do not think this is a skill worth running because it's old as dirt. Like, this kind of skill is old. This is something you see it back in the day. This is old. This is not worth running. Don't run it. Damage boost, while it is nice, it's not worth the 3-turn cooldown. You'll never use this again. Moving on. Will be your nightmare. Deals massive nature damage to one enemy. Applies nature weakness, or not nature weakness, nightmares to all enemies. So it's an area nightmares with a single target damage skill on a 1-turn cooldown. I kind of wished that it was special based. It's not. In fact, a lot of his skills just kind of be not special based. Like the last skill is like Hypnoto is special based. Thank Lord, it is, because this skill is actually worthless against the mirror matchup. If the enemy is running Gurlik Jr., not Gurlik Jr., I was gonna make a DBZ joke at some point, but like Gurlik here, if you had the mirror matchup, this does nothing to him. In fact, in general, if you run a Gurlik against a Gurlik, if you don't run in Warspells potion, the matchup is gonna be so bad for you. It just is. The really best the hardcore counter for Gurlik is Gurlik. It's ridiculous. I wish this did special damage, but it doesn't. Nightmares is really great with other stamina draining like passive effects, like stamina leak, drowning, curse, which is what you should be running with this monster if you're go tank Gurlik. Totally do that. Bite them, Gurmit. Deals heavy damage to one enemy, applies poison to one enemy, applies bleed to one enemy, gives 1 extra turn to itself. This is the extra turn skill, and this can kind of completely destroys a single person. Like, literally, because you stack 2 DOTs on them at once. If you land both of these, plus, your 70 damage skill, and you land the nightmares too, that's pretty disgusting, dude. That's 3 DOTs in one. That's, pretty nice damage there. I think that's, 25% plus all that solid damage you did. Pretty good. Especially if you run Warspells. Okay, so low key here. 2 ways you can go with this. I'm going to talk about the obvious one right up here is damage Gurlik with the Warspells potion. This is a very interesting skill. It's the very definition of high risk, high reward. If you get this buff, let me explain what it does first. Applies to itself triple damage for 2 turns. You get this for 2. If it becomes the good effect, you are very, very, very rewarded. But you're back to a baby if it goes the wrong way. So basically, coin flip, right? 50-50. Sun is shining or sun is very, very rainy in Philadelphia right now. It requires a cooldown of 3 turns. But when you are turned into a baby, you cannot attack at all. I think it's just like kind of like stun. However, this is an interesting thing. This is the interesting about it. You cannot be targeted. You cannot be focused down upon. That can be really annoying, again, because it kind of goes for stalling, right? Like I said in the beginning of this video, this thing is very, very, very annoying. Like, it can be very tanky too, thanks to Warspells potion. So regardless of if it's bad or good, if you're running like a tanky Gurlik, you don't really care if you get baby, because that just adds on to stalling. Like, it just adds on to you being annoying. It just does, because you can't be focused down. That means the only way they can really hit you is with area skills. That's a big deal. Because nowadays a lot of the time is with, since we have a whole bunch of area dodge options, a lot of people are kind of using focus work and, you know, extra turn reliance. Unless you're like a Thedes. But yeah, you can see how annoying it is, because you have to rely on area damage skills, and for the most part area damage is either avoided altogether or healed. So it's whatever grain of salt you want to take. But just so you know, back to baby debuff isn't all too bad. Like, it's bad that you can't do anything, but they can't do anything to you. It just completely stalls them. And again, that's kind of goes well with the protect positive effects. Yeah, Gurmit on guard, because you get a 50% life shield. Well, do Warspells potion, you get turned into a baby. Alright, so you can't be focused down, and you're still tanky. That's it's really, really nice. I think this monster goes really, really well with the monster. I think his name was Babari. It's a War Master. It's the Thunder one. And it gives you torture immunity. If you have that plus this monster, you can, again, just keep tanking, keep sponging. Really annoying. But yeah, it's ideally, you know, if you are running damage Gurlik, you do want the triple damage. I will say, if you do get that, you will destroy a single monster for sure. This completely obliterates a single monster, guaranteed. If they don't have anticipation, or you've trait disabled their anticipation and you get the good effect off, you kill something. You kill something for free, even if it's a rank 3 monster. Like if you go at it a single monster and they have no sustaining relics or death prevention, you will kill them. You will kill the monster for free. The monster is dead. There's nothing that can really be done about it. If their Coro Brutalis doesn't have its trait anymore, if the enemy doesn't have anticipation to stop the play, like right there and then, you will kill something for free. That is guaranteed. Because with Bite Them Gurmit and Will Be Your Nightmares or Hypnotoad, running at rank 3 with 10s, especially 10s at 3. You might even get away with 8s, level 8 runes. You will probably kill something, 100%. Triple damage is a really, really generous buff. To do 3 times damage, you will kill something. Again, if it doesn't have any preventing death things, you just will. This is a really, really great buff. And depending on the situation too, it can even favor tank Gurliks. It just does. Hypnotoad deals very heavy special damage to one enemy, 50% chance of applying possession to one enemy, requires cooldown. This was done in the past with a light monster who could do this as well. True Vision's all I have to really say to guarantee the possession. You do run this skill because it is your only special damage skill that you need to run, so you cannot be completely walled by Gurlik, like the Gurlik matchup. So I think this skill is a must. Overall, what I think you should run, okay, so I'm going to give you damage Gurlik and then tank Gurlik. I think you should run for damage Gurlik. You're going to run Warspells Potion, Hypnotoad, Bite Them Gurmit, and Will Be Your Nightmares. In terms of just the biggest damage possible, to very much ensure you kill Well, actually, no. I'd actually here's what I actually want. I take that back. Run Warspells potion, 1 Hypnotoad, bite them Gurmit, and then poison them. You want poison them really just in the case of the event. Again, you just want to clear anything bad. Because I think the combination, like these two, like you miss out on 10 more damage. It may or may not matter, but you can also have a chance to possess them too. And plus you've poisoned and bleed them. So I think you could get away without running the Nightmare skill. Poison them is a really nice, good reset if you need it. So I think that's a good setup. Having an AoE damage skill is always nice too. So I think that's what I would run for damage for the support. The tank Gurlik. I shouldn't really say support Gurlik because you're really just sponging damage. For tank Gurlik, you pick up Gurmit on guard for sure. Poison them all to remove any DOTs you will ever have. The extra turn skill to quicken up Gurmit on guard. If you do, for whatever reason, lose Gurmit on guard, it's just a good way to get it back. Plus, you have DOT. It is free DOT damage. And then either the possession skill for a possible extra turn of not taking any damage at all and completely possessing the enemy unit, or you can run the Nightmares for a little bit of extra chip damage, plus another stack of DOTs. Like it's just another 5% to the 20% that was already on board. Plus, poison and bleed reduces the damage you do, so that's kind of annoying. Monsters, real quick. Again, nature weakness monsters, living forest, Zarya. I know those are more nature monsters, but we have books nowadays. You can run multiple different kind of element monsters. I think guava. I'm just naming a bunch of nature monsters. What's one monster that does nature weakness, and then it's not a actual nature monster? Again, Madam Fusion. I've said that, but Madam Fusion does it. I think there was there? I don't think there was a Warmaster that did it. Besides Zara. I can't think of really anything else that does it. I want to say, I just can't think of any right now. I know there was one. There's like one monster out there that did it. I can't remember who. And that was not a nature monster that it did nature weakness. I might have just said all of them in terms of that. I felt like there was more though, in terms of just nature weakness. Really, you want to run it with them because of the AoE. Really, it ensures that you do more damage, and 40 damage. To amplify 40 damage is always nice. But if you are running, that's only for really damage set Gurliks that are only really care. Like if you're not running damage Gurlik, if you're running tank Gurlik, go for DOT. Yo, dude, go for stall. Go for sudden. We're talking sudden death, pure SIDS. We're talking about curse, like Shearzar's, just really tanky, annoying insta-kill win strats here, because Gurlik, again, can't really be bothered. And even if he does get the bad effect, again, it just works for him. You can't focus him down. You can just use DOTs for all that matters and win. It's really, really, really annoying if you think about it. You can just kind of focus on DOTs like Wyrmlad. I think this thing is great with Wyrmlad. Like tank Gurlik is great with Wyrmlad because Wyrmlad can just heal Gurlik. No matter what you do, Gurlik will just be there because Wyrmlad can just 50% heal him. In fact, ranked up Gurlik doesn't even. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't even matter because you use the target yourself with the heal, but it's a 50% heal. You can do restore the dream. You can even do the Saint Revive. And Gurlik is still fine. It's just annoying. Dude, if this thing would have had taunt, it would have been just perfect. Icing on the cake. Really, really annoying. Like, oh my god. But, yeah. I think in general, what I would run this as, I think I'd run it as a tank. Because really, if you run it as a tank, it really doesn't really have anything to lose. Like, at all. Like it sits there and sponges. And if you're using like a DOT comp, again, you can just stall. Crazy. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll play test it a bit. I think tank Gurlik will fly. I think it's pretty spicy, my boys and gals. Try that first. Don't be afraid to try it on stall comps. I think it'd be a great stall monster. Again, I think it's really stally for DOTs because nowadays people are just winning with DOT, like Curse. Curse is just phenomenal, and it always wins games. Anything like cooldowns activate with Curse, again, perfect. Really nice DOT counts. We even have like Ugluk and Saolut, which start the game off with poison and like, not poison, quicksand plus ignition, which just adds more DOT. There's a whole bunch of stall things you can do. I think stalling Gurlik, again, try it out. I think it can be really dumb. With that being said, I'm Dib the Awesome. I'll catch you guys later.